One of the common questions at the end of the year is how to do the end of year rollover. I'm going to take you through a very quick walkthrough of the rollover and the processes involved. The first thing before we begin, please make sure that there are no reporting periods currently open. Make sure that your reports have been sent out, printed, emailed, whatever it is that you need to do with them. Adam won't let you proceed if there are. The first thing that we need to do on the Administration tab under the Year-End Functions heading is to finalize our promotion results. Clicking on the academic year, and Adam will show us a list of all of the pupils in the school. Everyone with a tick next to their name will be promoted to the following year. These are grade 12s at a high school level, and because they've been ticked, Adam will automatically graduate them from the database. If there is someone who you want to have repeat a year, Nicole Bennett for example, we can untick her and Adam will have her repeat. I'll come back and show you that at the end, but for now, she's the only one unticked, everyone else is ticked. At the end, save the results and Adam confirms that Nicole Bennett is not being promoted. Now that we've done that, we can start with our year-end rollover. Here Adam is giving me a warning, and the reason it's giving me this warning is because I'm doing this video in November, and Adam thinks it's highly suspicious that anyone should be doing a year-end rollover in November. At the bottom, type in the random characters that appear. There are no spaces in there, so simply type in the characters that you see. This is case sensitive, so we do need to have uppercase, and click on go when you're happy that it's there. Adam now shows us a list of all of the classes in the school, and next to each of them are 4 different options. 5 different options including a default which appears here on the left, and this default is set up at the top. Let's talk about what these 4 options mean. This table can be found in the online manual if you want to refer back to it, and in the section Year-End Functions. There are essentially 2 concepts that we need to understand here, the concept of move and the concept of empty. I'm fairly sure that most of you will appreciate what deleting a class will do. But moving a class is Adam's way of describing the process of moving a class from one grade to the next. And that would mean that the grade 6 English class, for example, would change to a grade 7 English class. The teacher would be the same, the description would be the same, and the subject would be the same, but its grade would move up a year. Depending on whether we empty it or not, the empty option gives us asks us whether we want to have the children remain in that class or not. So, for example, if we look at option 3 and think about a pure empty, that often happens at a primary school level where we have Mrs. Smith teaching grade 5, and of course Mrs. Smith will teach grade 5 next year, so we don't want any of Mrs. Smith's classes to be moved up to the next grade. We just want all the pupils that were registered in them to be kicked out of the class and to have an empty class that we can add new pupils to. So the empty option would be a perfect option there. At a high school level, if we consider that the pupils choose their elective subjects in grade 10 and largely stay in those exact same subjects and classes until they finish school in grade 12, we would choose the move option. There, the grade 10 geography class would become the grade 11 geography class with the same teacher. Now obviously, your teacher may change year on year. We can certainly edit the class and change the teacher, change the description if we need to once we've done this. But by choosing the option to move, we at least know that the pupils will remain in that class and we don't have to do any additional work re-registering pupils in the classes. If we move a grade 12 class, it effectively is the same as asking to delete it. If Adam tries to move a class into a grade that doesn't exist, it will delete that class instead. And the last thing to mention here is that if your class does not have a grade associated with it, think about things like your sports houses or things like that, then the move option really doesn't have an effect. So let's go back now and make some choices. All of these options here are selected automatically as default, which means that they are using whatever option I've selected up at the top here. So I'm going to use the move option, which means that as things stand, all of these classes will be moved. So Mrs. Rebecca Staines' grade 8A class will become her grade 9A class with the same pupils attached in them. So that may or may not be what you want, but we're going to use that as the default option. I'm going to go and find some of the grade 9 subjects, like arts and culture, for example, which don't apply in grade 10. So I don't want these moved up because there is no such thing as a grade 9 arts and culture class. So I'm going to choose the option to delete those. The grade 8 arts and culture classes are being moved up because they are set on the default option there. And so all of these will become grade 9 classes. That means that next year I will have to, or once the rollover is complete, I will have to go in and create new grade 8 classes because these 4 classes that exist here will become grade 9 classes. So my grade 9 classes won't become grade 10s, those are being deleted. All of my business studies can stay the same. Again, remember the grade 12 classes, because I'm using the default option, which I've chosen at the top to be moved, those will be deleted because there is no grade 13. We can go down in EMS, I can delete my grade 9s, and geography. Not all of the grade 9s are going to take geography next year, so I'm going to delete those geography classes and create new ones if I need to. Same with grade 9 history and all of the other grade 9 subjects. I didn't do this with maths and the English and the first additional languages because those are going to stay the same largely in this particular school. I've decided that's what they're going to do. So once I've done all of that and I realize I've skipped a whole lot there, I can come to the bottom and finish this off by clicking on the next button. At this point, Adam would normally create a backup of your database. Here you see it pretending to back up. This is my demonstration school, so don't get a fright here when it says the backup was not created. That's simply because this is happening on my demonstration system. Yours will create that backup. Adam then shows me a key here for what's happening. All the M's represent classes that are being moved. All the X's represent classes that are being deleted. There are a lot more X's than classes I selected, and you'll remember that there are a lot of grade 12 classes that would have automatically been deleted because of that. If you choose to empty a class, those will have a dot next to them, or a dot representing them. And so you can see Adam gives us a rough time frame of how long it's going to take. If you've got hundreds or thousands of classes, it could take much longer than the 5 seconds that this session took here. Adam then adjusts leaving dates, deregisters our leavers, and processes the promotions. Anyone going up a grade will go up a grade. Those, of course, who are not going up a grade will stay. If we go back to the home screen, you'll notice now that Adam reports that we are running in rollover mode. This message will remain at the top of your screen until the 1st of January. That's there to remind you that you are in rollover mode. What this allows Adam to do is simply pretend that the date is the 1st of January. So any options and any activities that you would need to do in the following academic year, you can do now, because as far as Adam is concerned, we are already there. So the first thing that we can do, for example, is to add in a reporting period. And you'll notice that Adam's already picked up the 2019 dates. I'm not going to change those. Of course, you would put in your term dates there. And we can add the new reporting period and save our settings there. I'm not going to worry about the timeframes for now, but we have a new reporting period. The other thing that you would probably do at the start of the year is process your admissions, your enrollments into the school. And so you would come onto your admissions tab and use the option to process admissions and enrollments. Choose your applicants. You may have your applicants under confirmed enrollments. In this database, this demo database, they are just in the applicant pile. We can choose which pupils to enroll or not enroll, and at the bottom you can then enroll your pupils. One thing that we asked Adam to do was to not promote a pupil And so if we go to the grade list here, grade 12, and show the grade list, you'll notice here that Nicole Bennett has in fact remained in grade 12 while the rest of her peer group has been promoted out of the school. And that, ladies and gentlemen, in a nutshell, is the rollover process. There is more information in the documentation. If you need a link to that, please let me know. I will put one in the description, but chances are you got to this video from that very same documentation. Please take a while to read through that. It is updated. If there are any changes to this video, if you see something different, hopefully we'll have discussed it in the documentation.